G'day guys. I finally got my first lily bloom of the season a week or so ago, so I thought now is a good time to give a little spring tour of the ponds. The Aquascape Pond is looking good. Looks like I'm about to get another lily flower in here. That milfoil is really starting to fill over in this cove. There's been plenty of spawning activity over here this year. All the dianthus and cerastiums are in full bloom. Even that yellow water fringe over in the back is starting to flower now. The little comets and the shabunkins all seem pretty happy. I think in spring, the Courtyard Pond is my favourite. The maples and just all the foliage, it all looks its best this time of year. Those of you that watch all the videos know we just added 40 medacas into this pond. I love these little fish. The courtyard's also where I just set up the recent little barrel pond. It's still early days for this pond, so it's too early to say if it's a success, but at the moment it looks pretty cool. Up on the front veranda, looking down into the courtyard, we have the Anoxic Pond. The water in this pond is still crystal clear and the fish are happy and eating tons. The upper filter zone though is full of algae. I'm not too worried as this is pretty common even when I set up a new bog filter. The water fringe that I planted up here in the anoxic baskets, it almost completely died off. But they're just starting to reshoot now, which is good. I'm pretty lazy and I still haven't checked the water parameters. I'll make sure I do that in the next few weeks and I'll do a proper update on this pond and how that anoxic filter's going. But like I said, all the fish seem happy, so I'm not worried. The impatiens that I planted up in the pipes are doing really good. I lost a couple. Tomorrow I'm off to buy some strawberries to try in here, as some of you have requested. Here's the little budget goldfish pond that's below our living room window, and up in the top is the dream pond. Now eventually this goldfish pond will get expanded and a stream will come down from the dream pond. The plan is that it'll look like it's all connected. However, I want to keep the system separate as the dream pond's entirely native fish, whereas down here I want to keep the goldfish. The plan is to have a bridge crossing and the goldfish will swim under the bridge as you walk over it towards the front door. Hopefully I'll get to start that project soon, but there's a few loose ends I have to still tidy up out the front here. I think the dream pond's looking good. The dye's slowly starting to mellow. I actually quite like it now, especially from a distance. At the moment there's 42 fish in here, maybe a few less. I keep having to chase off a couple of ducks that have taken a real liking to the pond. The landscape's still very much a work in progress, but that's okay as it's really a whole front yard makeover, so it's going to take some time. The stream's looking nice. The blackbirds keep kicking my mulch everywhere, so that's a pain, but that's normal in spring. The impatiens have been slow to get going in here and in the courtyard pond this year. I've been having a few issues with snails and slugs. Around on the back veranda are the wine barrel ponds with the bog filters. I think this is their third spring. That impatien on the left-hand side has been here since I built the barrel. It just keeps coming back every year. The water in here is still clean and clear, and I've only ever flushed the bog once in the last 3 years. There's not many fish in here at the moment, as almost all of them went around into the Anoxic Pond. I'm not sure if you can see, but there's a giant tadpole down there. Oh, and there's also a few fry. This one's the bog filter with the clay balls and the water being directed into the bottom of the bog. whereas this one here has the scoria rocks up in the bog and the water's going directly over the top. The water in this one's still nice and clear, but there's a little more algae growth in the pond itself. The longer I keep this experiment running, the more I'm convinced that an upflow bog system works better than having the water run over the top. But even so, only one clean out in 3 years and no water changes, so not bad at all. And again, until recently, it was chock-a-block full of fish, but now, again, the majority of those are with their cousins in the Anoxic Pond. There's a little maidenhair fern growing up in the Bog Filter. I think it's self-seeded there because I don't remember planting it. Beside the barrel pond is this water garden in a barrel I set up about 18 months ago. It looked good for a while, but now it's just a mess of algae. I'm going to need to break it down and rescue that purple elephant ears for a future project. In this bucket beside it, I have 3 mosquito fish I caught in a local drainage channel. These are just going to get fed to my 2 silver perch I have in a tank in the nursery. These silver perch are so shy. I wish I could get some feeding footage, but they never come out if I'm near the tank. I often put the feeder fish in and they swim around for a whole day. And then at some stage overnight, there's been a feeding frenzy and they're all gone. And lastly, behind the nursery is the clay pond. The plant growth in here has exploded in the last few weeks. The water's quite clear, which is good because we've had a very wet few months, and that means that there's been lots of runoff and with that nutrients entering the pond. So it seems the plants are starting to utilise it more than the algae. There's some frog spawn, which is a good sign that the pond is healthy and full of life. Well, that's it for this walk around. If you've enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up button and I'll see you next time.